now been ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite. This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 38.
Go back to our damage. Okay, we are so sorry for that break in transmission. We had the technical issues which had just been restored, and we're so glad to have you again joining us on this special edition of your program. Our focus today on the program is on the economic implications of the nationwide protest, and our guest is a public analyst and a youth leader, Mr. Ahmed Agbabiaka. Mr. Agbabiaka, you were trying to analyze the extent of damages and the response of government on the agitation of the people, and I asked you a question that says, do the people think that the only way to air our agitation to the government is through protest, especially when it comes to damaging a lot of things on the economy?
Yes. Okay, so like I was saying, I think it is only proper that we learned the hard way now. You know, a lot of people, young people, cut their teeth in terms of agitation or protests from the NSAS protests that happened 4 years ago. And we saw all how that ended, and we're trying to do a post-mortem of what happened and how to prevent further occurrence, especially with the magnitude of damage that we witnessed at that period. Over 2 trillion of damages were done across the country, and up till now, some states and even the federal government have not recovered from such. Just recently, last 2 weeks ago, governors were still paid COVID-19 palliative money from the federal government.
Which COVID-19 again?
Yes, it was tagged COVID-19 palliative, and some state got as Zamfara State, I think, got as much as 450 billion. You know, it's a program from the federal government. You know, that came alongside almost the same time with the NSAS protest and all.
Okay.
So there was a devastating effect of that protest, and in the build-up to this one, we said the only fundamental error with that protest was because it was not properly organized. People were made to think that they are in charge of the protest, that everyone is the leader of the protest. But that is not how things are done. Things are supposed to be done and be focused, be specific. When it comes to gathering people, having gatherings and people with multiple ideas. In this protest that where people are gathered, if you ask, let's say 50 people gathered, if you ask them, there's a possibility that you're going to have 50 different opinions. So there's no single way of streamlining it other than having a leadership. And the protest should be focused. There wouldn't be any need for anybody to go and destroy things. If the protests have said, we want to face the government on the issue of subsidy removal, for instance, come and tell us, why did you remove the subsidy? In fact, return the subsidy. Who are those agitating? Maybe students going to their campus who are finding it difficult to transport themselves, market women and manufacturers, transport unions who are not being patronized more, establishments like a station like this, corporate entities who uses power and use petroleum or something on a daily basis. So they can now say, okay, let's have representative from youth, from labor unions, from manufacturers, from market traders and all that. Maybe one per state and all that. Okay, all of you, we have like 500 people, or maybe less than that. Come to Abuja, sit down, let's talk. The president can now present these things he did. Because of that thing that I removed, this and this and this happened. We had our revenue increase more than double. We have, we are no longer servicing debt with 97% of our revenue. We are now servicing, is now reducing to like 60. That's why we have more money for your governor. Your governor, I sent palliative to them. Didn't they bring it to you? There can be interaction. Yeah. Then you can say, okay, president, we have had you, but still bring it down. 700, 800, 600 is too much. Still find a way of bringing it down. After all, we see here that palliative subsidy is still being paid. Okay, it's being paid because there was a flotation of the naira. There can be interaction. Then afterwards, they cannot go back and say, what the president says is not enough. Let's go. We will have to protest. 2 days warning protest or something. But in that 2 days warning protest, you have leadership of different stakeholders. They cannot say, yeah, we were blocking here, or we are coming out here, or while we are doing it, don't let's infringe on the rights of other people. Let every other person go about their normal business. But we are downing our tools. We are not doing this. So while that is being done, in 2 or 3 days, their leadership cannot say, okay, for whatever reason, we are extending it by another day, or let's call it off. Okay. Let's give the president 6 months and see all those stories that I told her. Let's give him 6 months. Let's give him 1 year. The president can say, okay, I've had you, but just give me 2 years. There can be dialogue, such dialogue. But the way this one was coming, most of the people that came out, the senior lawyers, the big men and all that, prominent leaders that are coming out already, statesmen that are coming out, did not even know who fixed August 1st. Who is the person behind August 1st? Who told people to come out? Because it was afterwards that people started coming out, we are this group, we are that group. People are now laying claim to be leaders of the protest. No. If you are the leader of the protest, let's know the date. How come? Where did you guys meet? Where did you people meet with who to fix that date? But
some wrote letters to the Inspector General of the Police.
Yes, that was
informing him of the protest.
Yes, that was after the police.
Can't we say was it after?
It was after the protest has been fixed. The protest date has been fixed to August 1st. So when the police now said nobody came out, even the FCT minister said nobody wrote, you want to use this place, that was when some senior lawyers came out and said we are the representative of these people. Then they wrote letters for the usage of some specific monuments in Abuja. So, and those were the lawyers representing them. The people are not there. The people are not known. So I think it's a major issue in controlling how the way and manner of carrying out protests so as to avert this violent aspect of it.
Away from the leaders of the protest, or who are the faces behind the protest now. If you critically look at the whole drama of the protest, I think the recurrent decimal here is the inability of the federal government to monitor the state's governors and then the local government. Though before now, local government seems not to be operating until this administration coming out to give them an autonomy to operate. Recall that in one of the previous administrations that we used to have something that looked like a community meeting or something like that on a monthly basis. I think it was during President Goodluck Jonathan or President Olusegun Obasanjo. I can't remember very well, but we normally have what is referred to as community meeting. Don't you also think that this government can adopt such an initiative where the people can also be gathered, where the people can air their view to the federal government, if not the president himself? Like you said, we have a listening president, you said. Can't we have such? Because the problem also could be coming from the angle where the people themselves, as Nigerians, have also failed the trust they have in other associations for their coming together. For example, you were trying to say that the institutions from the government, from the schools, from the institutions of higher learning, the various stakeholders, people can air their views through them to the federal government. Where happens where these people fail, you don't have anyone to vet your anger or your dissatisfaction. What happens?
Okay, I think there is a lot to do with intentions. The president, when he came on board, created the Office of Community Engagement.
How functional is that?
Now, there are 6 senior special assistants, 1 per geopolitical zone, for a senior special assistant to the president on community engagement. And I think there are young people that were carefully selected, to represent the president. And there's also a PA to the president on constituency matters. So I think perhaps if they've not been doing much, or if this program, this is a wonderful idea that you just mentioned, community or communal meetings and all that. If it is monthly or quarterly or so, I think it's a great program that should be done, because much has not been heard about this, the engagement, the community engagement. And perhaps maybe funding, which is a major issue, maybe funding and all that, but it's a great idea that I think the government should adopt. There's an intention towards that. If not, the government wouldn't have created that office, and appointed people per zone, 6 young people per zone to man that place. So I think is one very important policy that they should look into, these young people should look into, and ensure that they are, because they were appointed from their zones. So you should be able to, you should be able to understand the workings of your zone. And if, with every sense of responsibility, the government has deployed these people, or if they have done their duty well, I don't think we will have some of these issues, because that's the reason why the office was created in the first place.
All right. Assuming you are now the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you are now Tinubu.
Yes.
What do you think you would have done at this point in time, and where do you think that Nigeria will be before the end of this first tenure of President Tinubu, given the situation on ground? Okay,
given the situation on ground, what the president has done with his speech, I think I will not do much more than what he has done right now. I think because I think he's focused. His speech, the speech he made is, I can say maybe divided into 3 days. The empathy and the sensitivity. When he started his speech, he mentioned the fact that he empathized with the people and over the loss and other, and the fact that they had to go on protest. He did that. Then he explained the justification behind his policies, most of which the protesters are saying he should revert or change or adjust. He made mention of that. That's the justification. And at the end of it all, he showed strength. That is what anybody should be proud of in this country. Devoid of emotion, unnecessary emotion. There is empathy, yes, but devoid of any kind of emotional reaction. He stated it fact that this country has to be secured, and that there is a strong man in charge. A strong man, but the one who listens, a Democrat. So that strength of a country, people, investors will hear what he said. I believe when he was speaking, he has all this in mind. He has the mind of people, the rational Nigerians, majority of rational Nigerians in mind when he was speaking. I got more confidence in the administration, in the government, and in Nigeria when I listened to the speech. He didn't go into specifics, of the demands of the protesters, but there was strength. There was a decisiveness in what he was saying, and you could see that this man knows what he's talking about. So I think that, for me, would do, and I will just repeat the same thing, maybe with one or little addition or that, but I think he has done excellently well, and I think he's worthy of commendation.
And now that the people are hungry and there are bags and trailers of rice, if you are the president, how do you get this rice to the people so that at least our hunger level
so those are the 1 or 2 aspects, that one needs to look into again. The issue of the governors have immunity. No, the president cannot say arrest him, remove him, or do whatever. So I think these things, palliative, the palliative are not even solutions. They are just, like the name implies, palliative, just to assuage 1 or 2 of the things. 1,000 trailers cannot feed the entire people of a state, of one state. If you take 1,000 trailer to a state, you know, it can't. So now talking about 20 at a time, at a point, and yet the governors are, through their agencies or their ministries or their agents, are still keeping them, not even knowing what people are hungry. Hunger is an ongoing thing, yet you collect it. I thought while it is coming from Abuja, the governors, you already know where it's going. There should not be warehouse for them. From the trailer, just drive it down to the venue, call the people, the stakeholders and everybody, distribute immediately, let the trailer leave. But they first of all bring it, take them to warehouses, then officials will manipulate, do whatever they want to do. And at the end of the day, just like what we saw, the rebagging or storing, and it's being looted by or taken by protesters. So I think the president has to look more into social welfare of the people. It is very, very important. And the governors, there's no way we can go about it. We just need to plead with the governors that they should ensure, just like they were fighting against local government autonomy, the governors should also empathize with the people. They should come out and be very deliberate in ensuring that whatever the president is doing trickles down through them to the common man. So I think that again is a very important aspect. The president can intensify his agitation like he has been doing for the people. You know, call the religious leaders, call the people, the stakeholders, traditional rulers, and talk to them. Your governors and every other person attends churches and mosques. In your sermon, call them out, talk to them. Let them know that the people are hungry. Let them be specific. If 20 trailers are coming, identify the big churches or mosques, take them down there. The traditional institutions are also there. It's not just the palaces. You know, take them there and monitor it. Let the poor people that comes to the emir or the oba or the Igwe's palace or the kings, their palace, when they come, have officials there that will monitor, you know, 24 hours camera, and give them time frame, 6 hours, let these things go out.
Monitoring, that is the word.
Yes, so 6 hours, we don't want to see any of this rice here. Call your chiefs, the various chiefdoms, let them take these things and distribute to everybody. So I think that will be, yes.
All right, the president should look into the social welfare of the people, while the governors should come out and be deliberate with the initiatives of government. And that is the size of our package on this episode of the program Business and Economy. The guest is a public analyst and youth leader, Mr. Ahmed Agbabiaka. Agbabiaka, we thank you so much for honoring our invitation.
Thank you very much.
To be on today's edition of the program. Yes. And to our esteemed audience out there, we sincerely appreciate your time with us today again. I recommend that we should embrace dialogue rather than protest in order to avoid the social distractions associated with the protest. Enjoy the rest of our program.